Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Learn with Jason. Today on the show, we have Lucie Haberer. Lucie, thank you so much for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me, Jason. Nice to
I
meet you all.
I am super excited today because we're going to be doing something that we haven't done in a while, which is working with headless CMSs, and specifically, we're going to be working with Prismic's Slice Machine, which is kind of an interesting spin on how CMS management works. So I'm really interested to learn about that. But before we talk about that, I actually want to hear about you. So for those of us who are not familiar with you or your work, do you want to give us a little bit of a background?
Yeah, sure. So, yeah, nice to meet you all, guys. So I'm Lucie. I'm from France, Paris. I'm working as a DevEx engineer at Prismic since 9 months now. And I'm also writing my master degree at college. So yeah, quite a busy schedule, but I managed to get through it. I'm also creating some content on my site. So I'm blogging now and then about Vue.js stuff mainly, and also some kind of serverless stuff. I'm quite a fan of Netlify also. Anyway, and I'm also really into the Next community and knowing them about everything. And also I'm quite a Windows person, so I'm also fixing Win32 stuff on online on GitHub because people don't respect our path of our POSIX. Anyway, and yeah, well, so I guess I'm quite a Vue.js and Next.js girl.
Yeah. And so Nuxt is actually something that we're going to use a little bit of Nuxt today, right?
Yeah, we're gonna use a little bit of Next, not doing a lot of Vue, so don't worry about it. It will be all right.
Okay, I'm excited. I have a little bit of, I've been taught. I've had some experts on here to teach me Vue. I definitely only retained like 10% of it though, so get ready. But so I want to talk a little bit about Prismic and Slice Machine. And so maybe the first thing that we should do is differentiate between the two. So before we start, what is Prismic?
Okay, so Prismic is a headless CMS, like a lot of CMS around. So basically, it's a CMS that gives you like a dashboard for editors and an API for developers, so you can query content from it. So it's just like the content management part. You don't have like any front end like with WordPress or other technologies. So that's quite like the modern way of managing content with Jamstack website and or other kind of website. And it gives developers a lot of flexibility regarding the technology that you are using. So yeah, like that's Prismic basically. And
Okay.
yeah.
And Slice Machine then is a thing built by Prismic. And so
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So Slice Machine, as we like to call it, is a canary version of Prismic. So it's kind of like the new way that we'd like people to build websites with Prismic as well as CMSs, and it empowers developer like with a brand new workflow that allows you like to build your component and have those components being ready for the CMS to be editable by editors and your marketing team inside it.
God. Okay. So the idea then is that instead of thinking about your headless CMS as being a like I open a page and edit a page, when you think about Slice Machine, we're saying like I'm opening a component of the page to edit, and then I can reuse that component in whatever order to build different types of pages out of components. Is that kind of like, or I guess slices?
Yeah, exactly. With Slice Machine, you create components, which are website sections. You might have like your hero section, a subscribe to newsletter section, an article list section. So you are building those components with Slice Machine, and then you give them to Prismic, and Prismic take care of like having like the UI for editors to input content inside it.
Got you. Very cool. And thank you for the sub, Trust. I also saw that Bobby Tables subscribed earlier. Thank you very much. It's good to have y'all here. Enjoy the boops. Or what is it now that I say? It's something ridiculous. Welcome to the Boop crew. Huh? Okay. All right, so here's what I want to do. Let's actually get over and start looking at it. So I'm going to switch us over into pair programming view here. And while we're looking at this, let's take a quick second to shout out the sponsors. We have live captioning, as always, made possible by White Coat Captioning. We've got Amanda with us today helping us out. Thank you very much, Amanda. And if you want to follow along with those live captions, you can see them on the homepage of learnwithjason.dev. The live captions are made possible through our sponsors, Netlify, Fauna, Auth0, Hasura, Thank you so much. They all kick in to make this show more accessible to more people, which I very much appreciate because there's no way I could do all this on my own without some help. Okay, so also make sure you go and follow Lucie on Twitter so that you can get the latest on Prismic, on Slice Machine, and on all the other cool things that Lucie's working on. We are working with Prismic today. Oh, dang. Okay, we got a party going on. So Chris, thank you for the sub. 19 months. Oh my goodness. And Tessa gifting the subs. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. Welcome to the Boop crew. Everybody. Oh my goodness. Oh, Gemberly, I see that you are now a subscriber. I am very much looking forward to getting spammed with your boops. Yeah, Nate Dunn, everybody. All right, good. Good to see y'all. All right. So I dropped the Prismic link there if you want to go check that out. But what we're specifically looking at today is Slice Machine.
Exactly.
And so Slice Machine, and we talked about this a little bit. We get these sections. So instead of a whole page, I get to like design as a developer. This is what you mentioned a hero. This is what my hero section looks like.
Yeah, exactly. This is a standard hero section that you might build. There's like other example through the page, I think, but well, that's the general idea. Like you're gonna build a hero section and you're gonna ship it to Prismic, and Prismic will give a UI for your content editor to work in it.
Very, very, very cool. And this is powerful stuff, right? Because like when we start talking about like the modern marketing website, you can't just say this is what the marketing page looks like. You have different needs every day. You have a promotion that you're running. You have a live event that needs updates all the time. You have to switch from a carousel for like client photos to a video that's an explainer, and those sorts of needs are going to come up all the time. And if you have to rewrite the whole homepage every time that you have those changes, that's no good at all. So this is kind of promising another way of working here, right?
Exactly. Like you don't want to have a back and forth between the marketing team and developers and designers. Like you want just the marketing team to be able to do their job by just like having the best content at the right place as fast as possible. And that's something that we enable within Prismic using Slice Machine and few things that we'll see later on.
Very, very cool. Okay, so I'm ready here to get started. I want to give this a try. So what's the first thing I should do if I want to get started with Slice Machine?
Okay, so yeah, the first thing you might want to do is to download the Prismic CLI. So to do that, you can just like use npm install or yarn global add, or you can install it globally, and it's Prismic-CLI.
Prismic CLI, okay, here we go.
Exactly. It should be rather quick, I hope.
It's a famous last words, right?
I'm sitting here and I'm watching. But yeah, like basically, like we ship a CLI that allows you like to interact with Prismic, and this is what we're gonna work with today.
Okay, perfect.
Done. So we get the latest version of the CLI.
Or I guess we can do like Prismic version.
Yep. I think if it's hyphen version. I don't think there's a shorthand for it yet.
There we go. Okay, so we're running Prismic 3.8.7 today.
Great.
All right.
And now that we have the CLI, the first thing that we want to do as a new Prismic user is to sign up. So we can do Prismic sign up.
Sign up like this?
Yep. And this will prompt you for an email and a password. So whatever you find with.
Let me generate a strong password over here. Maybe. Dang, y'all got to the almost to the level 3. This is very, very good stuff out here. Oh, and Tessa mentioned those GIFs are on behalf of the MDE community. That's Media Developer Experts. Is that right? That's a Cloudinary program, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, I'm getting a secret password over here. Okay,
Great.
We've done it. I have an account.
So we have a Prismic account, and now like we're ready to start working with Prismic, but first we need a project. So we might just like bootstrap a simple Next project, and for that we have the npx create next app command.
Okay, so npx create next app.
Yep, exactly, just like next.
Okay.
And you can input a name, a folder name if you want to.
Okay, yeah, let's do this as we'll do Prismic Slice Machine. That'll be our project name. Okay.
Great. So yeah, you can leave this default. Yep.
Okay.
JavaScript. You want to TypeScript today, whatever you're fine with.
I'll use npm.
Okay. Perhaps we might want, well, that's up to you or to the chat. Like we will build like some components. So if we want to go quick, perhaps we might want Tailwind CSS. I don't know if you're familiar with it. Or we can just...
I'm not super familiar with Tailwind. I still probably need to bring somebody from that team on to teach it.
Okay,
but,
so let's stick with nothing then.
Okay, yeah, I can
work.
Okay. Do we need any of these?
Nope.
Okay.
I think it's still, well, we don't need that fancy formatting right now.
Yeah, we can put prettier in. We'll let that one work, and I'll probably skip the rest.
Yeah,
so that
should work out of the box. Yep.
Okay.
Okay. None.
No tests today. We're flying.
Okay, so so we're gonna build like a statically generated website, so we can leave like a universal SSG. We aren't building an SPI today. Yeah, we want to put static because if we have time, like perhaps we rest it on Netlify by the end.
Yes.
You can leave default here.
Okay.
Well, nothing. I mean, sorry. And none.
Okay.
We're almost done.
We're going to use Git. Okay.
And boom. Now it's
Here we go. It's happening. All right. What's up, Tony, with the sub? Thank you. Yeah, we're just partying. All right.
We got some Tailwind lover in the chat. Sorry, not today.
I'll tell you what, y'all. Tell me who you want to learn Tailwind from, and I will reach out to see if we can make that happen.
Okay, so this is currently installing next, well, bootstrapping a next project, so it should be rather quick. And once we're done with that, we're gonna like bootstrap Slice Machine inside it. And this is quite a similar process.
Okay, so we're doing this. Let's give ourselves a little bit of music while we do it. Oh no! Should have done it earlier because now it's done and now we're
almost.
Okay. All right.
So that was a nice goal.
All right. So let's get in here. We'll get into our new project and I'm going to open it.
Yeah. Great.
Okay.
So now, well, we have our next project. So it's little bit similar to a Next.js project. There's just a bunch of default directory when with Next, you have just like few of them. But the idea is the same. Like you have a pages directory and inside them, like you have your pages.
Okay. And so I'm just going to start this so we can see it.
Yeah, it's dev script.
npm run dev.
Yep.
And it's running at localhost 3000. That contrast is not great.
We would need to add code.
That's right, chat. It's time for code. Okay, so we've got ourselves a kind of a default Nuxt project here. Nothing special added. It's just right out of the box, right out of the Create Nuxt app. Okay.
Exactly. So yeah, now what we need to do is to bootstrap Slice Machine inside it. So you can kill Nuxt.
Okay.
And now we'll run Prismic SM, the letter. Yeah, just one S, excuse me. Okay. SM stands for Slice Machine, so it's short, short for Slice Machine. Yeah, so we will use this command like a few times, and then ---- setup. Yeah, like a flag.
Okay.
So we run this one. So what this command does is that it bootstraps Slice Machine inside your project and also create a Prismic repository for you. So it will prompt you for a name just after it's installed. And
okay.
Well, this one is quicker than Next, if I remember correctly, so we don't need the music, but it should be fine.
And so this is going to do, so I'm logged into Prismic now. I've created an account.
Yep.
So it's going to set up not just the files locally, but it's also going to connect to Prismic to set up the hosted part of Prismic?
Exactly. So
that's cool.
It will create the part on Prismic side. It will set up a Prismic SDK inside your Next project or Next project and get Slice Machine ready to work on it.
That's super cool. Oh yeah, and we can even tell like here it installed Nuxt, so it's smart. It can tell what kind of project we're in, and it's just making decisions for us. That's really handy.
Exactly. So yeah, so now it prompts you for a repository name, so it's your endpoint within for your content within Prismic. So just we just need to put a unique domain, and it will create one.
Okay, so we'll call it LWJ Slice Machine. That sounds like it should be unique.
Should be unique. Great. And well, it succeeded, I think.
Wow. Okay. So that happened really fast.
Yeah. So like right now it's giving you like few tips about what to get started, but I'm here to help you this time, so we might not use the deck. Okay. We are almost done with setup. We're getting closer. We need to do like few last things. So now Slice Machine is like a framework, like a workflow to help you work with components that are ready for CMS. And Slice Machine rely on Storybook. And so we need to add Storybook to our project. Storybook is quite like difficult to add and to configure. So we have a command for that with the Prismic CLI that does its best to configure Storybook within your project. So we can run Prismic SM. And then it's -add -storybook.
Wow. Okay, like this.
So quite you can run it. And quite similarly to the SM setup command, this command like will check your framework and we try to set up like Storybook as far as it can go for your framework and to have Storybook up and running in your project. So you can run it this time because Storybook is quite beefy.
Turn that down just a bit, y'all. Okay, so this is really cool. So what we're doing here is a lot of things that, you know, in my experience when I was working at IBM, for example, you know, a lot of what we did was trying to plug together these tools. We would get the project set up, but then we had to configure testing, and then we had to configure linting, and then we had to configure Storybook, and then we had to get it set up with the CMS. And what I'm seeing here is that we started with something that's not a Prismic project, Create Nuxt App. And you've done all of the connective pieces with the CLI where now I don't have to figure out how to connect Storybook. You're just kind of doing that for me. Let's see.
So this error was expected because like there's a folder missing that we need to create later on, but like this was expected. Like it's a bit misleading, but yeah. So yeah, you can kill Storybook because right now there's a Storybook server running. Okay. Great. So we're getting closer. We need like two last things that are quite quick. So if you can pick, we need like to just switch to the alpha version of Slice Machine to get the greatest and latest that we're working on. So to do that, I just want to there's no command for that. Sorry. So we will run like npm install, then -dev or -d just with it. Yeah. And then it's slice -machine -ui.
Oh wait, it's okay.
Just as a dev dependency. Yep.
Sorry, say that one more time. It was which
so it's slice SLICE -machine -ui, and then we're gonna pin the version. So at o.o.44.
Okay.
-alpha.6. This is like the tricky moves that we're doing to get like just the latest version with like latest feature to showcase cool stuff.
Got it.
But yeah, like just to override the default stable version.
Missing slices, needs more pizza. That's how I feel right now. I am also missing slices. So what we're doing right now is, Slice Machine UI.
Yep.
How does this relate to the rest of what we're doing?
Okay, so Slice Machine UI will be the UI that help us to shape our component for the CMS the way we'd like them to be shaped in terms of like content. Okay. So it's a UI that will launch in a few and that will help us to like say that, in this component I have an image, a title, a description. And so it will get our component ready to be shipped to Prismic.
Got it. Okay.
Okay. Okay, so last thing we need to do is just like if we can add to the code part of, to your editor, sorry, we need to remove one thing in the next config file.
Okay.
Yep, and it will be like just, I think it's like at line 25 or something like that. We need to remove the CSS, 2029, the CSS file included, line 29, yep.
Just so get rid of this.
So, yep, exactly. So this is counterintuitive. I'm sorry about it, but basically when you install Slice Machine with SM setup command, it ships with like a default library and ends the default CSS file. So because it will like confuse us later on by overriding some of our style, we just remove it. Don't get bothered with it.
Got it. Okay, cool.
Okay, and we're done with our setup.
We're done. Okay.
Yeah. So we can start actually like, well, once we did that, we can start like coding our component. So yeah, like we're ready to my second segment. So at Prismic, as you might have guessed it, we call like those components that are ready for CMS slices. Mm-hmm. So slices are website section, like your arrow as we seen earlier, or like subscribe to newsletter section. And so we are gonna build with JSON like a few of them here to showcase like how to work with Slice Machine. And I was just wondering, like perhaps the chat as idea for a subsection to build. Like, I don't know if you can open a browser quickly. I will show you like a fun website that inspired us. So you can add to myflipband in one word.com.
Flipband?
Don't worry, it's flipband.com. It's safe for work content. So yeah, so this is a really funny startup that got bootstrapped, and basically like they're building like a band that you get on your wrist.
Oh and yeah, like this is a really cool idea.
Say, like, yeah, I find it so cool. Basically, like you say, like, okay, every day I want to work out for 15 minutes, and like once you achieve this goal, like you can flip it and you get the check mark on your wrist.
This is a good idea.
Cool. Yeah. So what I was thinking about, like, either we can build like few sections for this website, so we can see like the reward section is quite simple to build, and there's also like a newsletter section at the end, or we can do the embed section with the video. That's up to the chat or up to you. But like I'm really, there's like a newsletter section that we can also build. Yeah. So perhaps we can. Yep.
Maybe what we can do is, so are you thinking, just to repeat this back and make sure I understand it, you're thinking we'll just hand code like a hero section and maybe another section, and then we're going to set those up to work with Slice Machine?
Exactly.
Okay. So let's do a hero is kind of a standard, right? You're going to do a hero for pretty much everything. And then maybe we can do like this tutorials, because this looks like I can copy paste it a few times and we'll be able to get through it quick. Okay.
We can do that.
All right. So chat, if there's anything you want to see that we're not doing, you just let us know. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a section, and we'll give it a...
Yeah, you're going a little fast because you're already working inside the component, and well, sorry to interrupt you.
Oh, no, sorry. I maybe I misunderstood. I thought this is what we wanted to do.
No, I wasn't like, again, like with Slice Machine and Prismic, we're here to help you getting through that. So what we want to do is to create our first section.
Okay. I was definitely jumping the gun here.
Sure, sorry, maybe it wasn't clear enough. So what we can do is to add again to the CLI, and we can run prismic sm command.
Okay.
And this time it's -create -slice.
So it's going to do it all for us, chat. So all right. Look at me doing things the hard way. Okay, so we'll put it in slices.
Yeah, so you can build like library of slices. So you have a default slice library, and well, we need to give it a name, so it can be like simple arrow, whatever you find with, just like some kind of Pascal case identifier for the slice.
Maybe we'll do something like this.
Yep, that works.
Okay.
Boom, and we just created our slice. So our slice is available here inside like slices/section arrow, and we have multiple files in it. So maybe I can explain like what are those files.
Okay. All right.
So we have different files in it. Let's go from top to bottom. So we have the index.stories file. This is just like a storybook file that is meant like to show you slices inside storybook. So we can work within storybook while developing our website section in isolation. So it's just like some
very cool. Okay.
Yeah, next one is our index.view component. So this is our section, and it contains like some default like content, and we can work with it. So it's just like basic section.
And then we've got our styles down here. These are going to be scoped to the component. This is one of the things that I love most about Vue is this single file component setup.
Great. And now we have mocks artisan. So this one is an interesting one. Basically, like as a developer, I don't know if some of you in the chat have experience with building things with headless CMSs. When you start building, there's a lot of like back and forth going on the CMSs, and you input you do your content modeling in the CMS, you input fake data to start working with them, you download them in your code, and then you start like showing things like inside your pages. And that's something that we want to avoid with Slice Machine. So what we do is we are generating dummy content for your slices, so you don't have to get this back and forth with the CMS.
That's really nice.
Yeah, that's great, Andy. And finally, the last one is the model of the component that is ready to be shipped with Prismic. So this one, we don't need like to pick at it too much. It's just like some kind of content model information for Prismic to be able to generate the UI for your content writers.
And this is really interesting too, because what this is showing me is that I'm not going to Prismic and saying, Prismic, let me click these buttons to define like my tables and stuff. I, as the developer, I'm writing the description that Prismic will use to build the forms that the content editors edit in. And that schema is here. So if I want to change something in the Prismic editing experience, I'm actually going to be editing this file.
No.
No.
Sorry. That's the trick. You can edit this file, but it's dangerous because like it's not friendly to edit a JSON and then to push it and see if it's working. So we have some kind of validator to that, and that's like our next step. So we want to add to the CLI for launching another command and to open some other magic. So this time is we are gonna launch the Slice Machine UIs that we updated earlier on to use the alpha version. And so the command is prismic sm --develop.
Like this?
Yep. So this will launch a Slice Machine UI in a Node server.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would I like to move?
Yes. Yeah. But just like, we are running some kind of migration thing, so you can just skip it or it was, yes, it won't change anything for us.
Okay.
Great.
Thank you for the sub, Luke.
So this is launching a server. Now it's running on for 9,1999.
Okay, let's go take a look.
Oh. I
think it's just thinking. My network is sending a lot around right now. So.
No, this was a cold start of the server. I think it was a bit slow. So here we go. Like we are in UIs that will help us to shape our slices content model, and we have here like our error sections that we created together.
Yeah.
It says that it contains error. We'll get through it like in a few minutes. And well, I think we will have some like a haha moment. Like this is the workflow. So right now, like you already entered it. That's great. So here you have a UI that is quite familiar to those that are using headless CMSs. So basically, like you are able like to input like the fields that you want to get dynamic data from. So here we just have the title and the descriptions that we were looking from our component.
So we got a title. Those. We can keep that. Got a description, and then we've got a probably button text and a button link.
Exactly. So
and then an image.
Yep.
Okay.
So if you want to, we can already do the content main right now, adding like the few buttons that we need to add. So yeah, you might need to zoom a bit, perhaps if there's no scroll on this picture. Yeah, well, we need like, okay. Yeah, so what are you looking for right now? Like we need like to create the button, right?
Yeah, so this one, right?
So key text is right for a button. I prefer this one over rich text, and we can like just enter the API ID for it. So yeah, button label or button, works for me.
Okay.
And then if we can, tell me.
Do a link.
Yep, exactly. This works.
Okay.
So we can have our button link here.
Got our button link.
Yep.
Oh, and are these supposed to be, like how should I think about these? Like, should I name them as like code things?
No, you're doing it right. Basically what you are seeing right now is the API ID, but you will be, well, what I mean by API ID is like the key in the object that you get from the API that will have the content for this button link. So by default, when you don't have a label over it, it just puts the API ID. If you want, you can put a label over it. You can hit the little like pencil. Yep.
Oh,
and
okay.
here you can put like a user-friendly label, so like a button link.
Got it. Did I do it?
Oh, good. This is weird. No, should be great. Okay.
It's okay. We don't need that.
Well, okay. Well, let's forget about it. That's not like we're developer. We can deal with camel case and things like that. Yeah, and let's add an image. So this one is pretty straightforward.
Okay.
Okay. And well, we're mostly done with the content modeling of our section. We have the title, the description, the CTA under it, and the image. So before we save it to the file system, because as you can see on the sidebar, there's a save model to file system. So we won't hit this one yet, because before that, we need another terminal to run Storybook inside it.
Okay.
Don't kill the slice machine UI, and we can. Yeah.
And then I'm gonna npm run Storybook.
Exactly.
Okay.
So this will run our Storybook. And yeah, one of the things that we did earlier on is that we added Storybook for Prismic CLI, and Prismic CLI did its best to like bootstrap Storybook for a project. The great thing with Next.js is that they are using a Storybook module that is like a really powerful thing from Next that allows it to like resolve the Webpack config for Storybook automatically, so we don't have to deal with Webpack, which can be like quite long and troublesome to get through. And here we go. So we open Storybook, and I think you might have guessed already what we are seeing here. So this is the default hero section that we created like for the CLI. And now what you can do is you can get back to the Prismic, to the slice machine UI. Yep, and now you can hit save model to file system. So
there we go.
Yeah, and as you can see, we saved the model, and so it took like a snapshot of our component from Storybook for us to like have a thumbnail of it inside it, and it updated the model.json in our code. Exactly.
That's that's super cool. And so I don't then have to learn what all of these different config files are. I just get to go and edit it locally. I don't have to like go log into Prismic or anything. I'm working on my local machine with Storybook, clicking some buttons to configure it, and then it saves all of the code so we can put it into source control.
Exactly.
That's slick.
Excuse me, go ahead.
No, I'm just gushing. No, go ahead. So now that we have a model,
we have a model, and the interesting thing, because like we added like fields, it also generated mocks for it. So we will be they are already provided when working in the Storybook context. So that's why we were able like that's the thing. Like you don't have to deal with this mock file either. Like it's get generated every time with generated
God, that's
content.
so handy.
If you want to get a step further, you can even we just started with it, but we are giving the ability to users to fine tune the way their mock are looking. So you can decide like, okay, I want image about dogs and not like random image. I want 4 paragraph or something. You can we are giving slowly the ability for user to fine tune the way mock are looking. So you're able to have like better mock for when you're working as a developer.
That's okay. That's super cool. So, and is that a thing that I would do like in my config somewhere? I would just say like, I want, or I would do it in the Prismic UI, say like the mock for this should be 4 paragraphs.
Exactly.
Text.
If you want to, we can like add to it right now. No, slice machine UI, excuse me. And if you get, we can pick like this one. So you can add like, there's 2 tab over, and that, excuse me, I'm going super fast. But like the first tab is like the field config. So what you want this field like to be able, not to be able to do for like the editor part of it. And the second tab is the mock config. So this one, we just introduced it, and it's still a bit basic, but you will be able like to really fine tune the way mock are being generated for while developing.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
just one simple paragraph.
That's really, I mean, this is nice. And so, you know, we can, okay, I get it. This is very cool. This is like extremely handy too.
Yeah.
And then if I go into this one,
you can either input code an image, or you can pull image from Unsplash.
We clearly wanted some, what happened?
I think you can close, like, it kind of like, now it should be good.
Okay.
Or perhaps it's still not too beta. Okay.
That's okay. We'll let it, we'll let it sit.
We can.
But this is amazing. So then once we have that, now I have storybook. And so this is where we'll develop, right? Like we'll kind of work in here. So if I take this over, before I jump the gun again, is now the time to code?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this is time to code and get our and dirty now.
Okay. So then this is not the one that we want. This is not the one that we want. We want this index.view here.
Exactly.
All right.
Oh, so we would
so inside
code.
Yeah, sorry, I'm being disturbed by the code GIFs that's pop up. That's cool. Okay, so here we have a simple view component. I think you can get rid of the file tree to save up some space, perhaps. Yeah.
Yeah, let's get rid of the sidebar here. And so we've got our sidebar. Let me wrap this so that everybody can see all the code. And
now we have our component showing just like the two basic default fields. And now like you told me earlier that you're not a Vue developer and you're afraid to screw up and like not being like handy with syntax. So again, Slace Machine can help you here. And if we want to, we can just like head back quickly to Slace Machine UI, to the localhost tab. And and you'll see at the top, there's a little checkbox saying show code snippets.
Oh.
Okay. And perhaps you can like just expand the window a bit, because I think right now it's like in mobile mode, so we don't get to see everything. Yep.
Oh.
It's showing you contextual code snippets, so like it's already like ready to be used, like it's updated with the right key, so you can just like hit copy and it will like get it for you.
Got it. Okay. So then if we're going to set up a hero section, we've got our like text area.
Yep.
So there's like the text, and then inside of that, we're going to have our H1, which will have our title in it.
Yep, exactly.
Okay. Then we're going to have probably, I'm going to assume a div, because this is a rich text field. So I assume it's not like just plain text that we could wrap with a paragraph. So I'm going to put a div around it, and then we're going to create our button, which I'm just going to stick right in here. So our button, the text will be what I copied, the slice primary button.
We want to wrap it inside a link, perhaps.
Oh yeah, you're absolutely right. Not a button like that. We want a link, and then this will have a class of button.
Yeah. That's working. And again, here, like because like we inputted the link, we can, I think, pull the snippet, which will use like the Prismic link component, which, well, it's like a regular like anchor component, except that it resolves like the structure of a link that is coming from Prismic.
Fascinating. Okay, so then I can just skip this altogether. We'll get rid of that.
So like this came really handy for me, because like I'm not really used with React, and this was helping me a lot when like trying Slace Machine with React, and like because I don't get like to remember the exact like syntax of it.
Okay, but so this then, now that we've got this Prismic link, I can just add a class to it like normal, like I can do button. Okay,
exactly, that works.
Okay, so I'm going to save this.
I think you need to close the text tag. Yep, you open a text tag on line 3.
Oh, I sure did.
So
yep. Oh, that's right, because we need to also have the image. And so then we need the class image, and inside here.
And here again, we can pull the image from the snippets.
Just done for us.
Yep.
Prismic image. Beautiful.
Yep.
Wow, that is.
And And now I think that if we save this, we should see everything on Storybook.
Wow.
Yeah. Perhaps you can close the little like contour thing, like the under. Yeah.
How do I don't actually know how to do
Sorry,
this
there's
one.
a cross middle at the right. I'm pointing my screen. This is not helping. Like at the middle of the screen on the right, top right. Yep. Nope. You were close to it. I don't. Yeah. Well, this works too. Like we can stay in.
Oh, that's the wrong thing.
Sorry.
Who wants to watch me push all the buttons?
Yeah, the full screen was great, I think. Like the things that we pulled. Yep.
Okay.
This one is great, like so we can focus on our component.
Okay.
Okay.
So
we don't have a link. Oh yeah, no, we have the link. It's just like unstyled, I think.
Yes. So here's the link here. So I'm going to then let's style things up a little bit.
Yep.
So we'll come down here, and we called it section hero.
Yeah. So here's, I think it's some. Yeah. Okay. It's regular CSS, so we can regular CSS.
Yeah. So we'll make it like display flex. Let's see how fast we can style up a hero section. So we'll go display flex. We'll do a gap of like probably 2 rem, and then we have our text, and we have our image, and I'm gonna get rid of the rest of these because I don't want them. These we can make. Let's go a width of like
50%. No, I don't. It's not 50%.
Well, let's go 60%. That seems fine. And then this one, we can go maybe even like auto, and then we'll do an image of width 100%, height 100%, and we'll do an object fit cover. Great. Okay. Wow, I'm happy with that. So that's like getting closer.
Going on.
What if we do like a contain instead? That's a little bit better.
Great.
Cool. So then we've got that. Why didn't this go left though? Oh, because I wrote center.
Yep, and there's another. Yep.
Okay. So then, go ahead.
Excuse me. Yeah, it was centered like middle because I think there's some like CSS remaining at the top that is center. Yep, right here.
Okay. So then we've good. And then let's make our button look like a button. So I'm going to do a button, and we'll give it a background of let's see, our color is 111, and what's our foreground color here? We'll just invert it. So we'll grab this one. Let's go with a font weight of bold, padding of, I don't know, 0.5 rem, and then a little extra on the sides, border none, and a border radius of 0.25. How's that gonna look? Kind of close. Let's maybe give it a display block and a margin top of 1 rem.
Oh, that was fast. Inline block, perhaps.
Yes, that's probably the right call. Let's go inline block.
Yay. And perhaps removing the underline. That's up to you.
Cool. Okay. Great. So it's not perfect. We need to do some stuff to make this more accessible, like focus states and all that good stuff. But for the purposes of showing what we're trying to here, I'm gonna give that a good enough for now. Why is this not doing what I think I want image to be? Let's do the 20% minus 2 rem, so it actually fits.
This would be really small.
Not quite right. How about 40%? That's better. And then let's make this text. We'll give it the 60. Why are you like this?
Because I think it wants to take the remaining space. I'm not sure.
Yeah, now I'm confused by what it's doing. You know what? I'm happy with that. We're going to ship that. So this is our hero section.
Yep.
We've got it set.
Great.
Looks good.
So-
I'm happy.
Okay, great. So yeah, so if you're happy with it, that one, I think we can move on to the second one that you were looking for.
Yes.
So the
Okay.
little card one.
So let's see if we can do this. And actually, this will be kind of interesting because this one's going to have a repeating block. I saw that there was an option for that. So, okay.
Exactly.
All right. So here's what I'm going to talk through what I think, and then you can tell me how we should do this.
Great.
So my thought is that to make one of these, we need a section or a slice that will be this here, and we'll have a photo, a headline, and a description. And then we need to be able to repeat that 3 times so that we can have 3 entries in our testimonials block.
Exactly.
Okay. Let's see. If I want to do that, do I just start a new terminal or do I need to shut things down?
Yeah, I'd open a new terminal.
Okay, so let's
That's like
go.
Slice Machine is a little bit terminal heavy right now, and we are looking for a way to reduce this overhead by perhaps launching Storybook and on-site Slice Machine UI.
Okay,
but yeah,
so
right now, like free terminal is the way to go to be comfortable with it.
was
it was
add slice?
Create Slice.
Create slice. Okay, I'm creating what?
Ah,
What do you mean Prismic not found? I disagree. Am I in a different version of Node? What's going on? Hello?
no, perhaps perhaps it's only living on the first terminal. Not sure what's going on here.
I think it may be.
Is it the same profile? I don't
know. Let's find out.
Okay.
I don't know what's going on. We'll just stop and start it. Oh, I'm in 14.15 over here. So let's nvm use 14.
Ah.
I don't know what's going on. I probably need to restart my terminal or something. But for now, we can Prismic sm create slice.
Yep.
Put it in slices.
And this time I don't know. It's like testimonial. Yep.
I spelled it wrong. No. What have I done? It's okay.
I think we have to go with it because but that's like something on our backlog to implement, like the way to rename slices. But right now we are happy with it.
We'll live with my choices.
And you can launch again the Slice Machine UI with Prismic SM develop. Yep.
Wait, where was it? Here, develop.
And yeah. Well, okay. I'll let you go ahead so we see like if it's working as expected.
Okay, so now that we've added a second one, if we go back to the slices library, we can see that it's here and named I'm spelled wrong. Oh, okay.
That's okay.
And this one's actually pretty close because it's already got a title and description, so I just need to add that image, right?
Yeah, but if I'm helping you like right now, well, we need like to add like a repeatable set of testimonials. And
you're right.
This is like as you can see on the UI, there's like 2 different types of zones where you can add fields. There's a non-repeatable zone, so it's like single unique field for your slice. And there's a repeatable zone, which is like a set of fields that you will be able, that the content editor will be able to repeat within its UI. And
do this?
Right now, you cannot drag it like through section like that.
Got it. Okay.
Wild for us right now.
That's fine. That's fine. So what we'll do is we'll say, can I use the same field names? Like if I call it image, is that okay? Okay.
Yep. Like field name, I only like need to be unique, like within their unique zone. So you
got it. And then we'll give regular text. We'll just do a heading and rich text for testimonial. Okay, and then do I just delete these?
Yep.
Okay.
It's not clicking.
Doesn't seem to want to let me do that. That's okay. We can just ignore these when we...
That's really weird, but okay. Well, yeah, we don't want cause trouble for us. So we can save this one to file system now.
Oh, it deleted it for us, apparently. Maybe it... Oh,
yeah,
no, it didn't.
Well, there's... Yeah, well, I'm not sure what's going on here, but yeah, well, they're not bothering right
it's
now.
okay. It's okay.
Yep. Okay, so we have everything running on our terminal, so that's fine. Now we can code, I think.
Okay, so if I go back out to here,
yeah,
close section hero, I can get into the testimonials here, and I can open up this one, close this back up, and now we have our code snippets.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah.
And so, so this is interesting. So now for the repeatable sections, I'm putting it inside of a repeater.
Yep.
Okay, I can handle that. That's a thing that makes sense to my brain. So let's see, if I call this testimonials, oh my God, am I ever going to spell this word right?
Yeah.
Then I should theoretically be able to do something like, let's take this, and I'm going to make this wider so we can actually read it.
Yeah, we need some formatting, but it's fine.
I want to take this out, and I want to put it right in here. Is that okay?
That's not okay in Vue because I think that's similar with JSX, but you're not allowed to export multiple nodes from a single component.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, like that's not a thing in Vue 2. With Vue 3, you can do that, but not now.
Okay, so we've got a div. We're going to loop over the slice items, and then for each item, we're going to render a thing. So I'm going to copy this one out.
Yeah, it will get a little annoying here because it's meant to copy.
Oh, I did the wrong thing.
So yeah, no, you didn't. It just it copy everything inside the snippet for you. So
H2.
That's okay.
And then this last one is the Prismic Rich Text. Okay, so I'll drop this down here and then we'll just copy out the piece we need.
We just need the middle one.
Okay, so then I can put that in here and
I think we're good.
I think we're good. So I'm going to save that and then let's go over to Storybook.
Yep, and we should see, if we escape maybe. Yep.
Testimonials, default slice. I will go full screen. And now we've got.
I don't know how many we end up with. Yeah,
oh, it ended up with.
Well, it generated a random amount of items, but I think we're fine with 5. Or if we can try our luck to get more or less, or by saving again, but I don't think that's not something we can save right now. But
okay, this is so let's save one of these images. We'll save.
Yep.
Save to the file system. And now when we reload here, it gives us faces, which is good. That's what we wanted.
Yeah. So right now it gives the same sample for everyone. So this is again, but this gives us an idea of having a face as an image to work with.
No, that's perfect. So then down here in our section testimonials, got it. Okay. Then we can do kind of the same thing. So we'll display. How do we want to do this one? Maybe this one we'll do as, let's play with grid, right? Grid is fun. So let's do grid template.
I'm running right now.
Columns, and we will make it a repeat. Please stop helping. There we go. 3 and I don't know, let's call it 30%. And then we can do a gap of, we'll give it 2RM again. And let's make the background on this one white. Cool. Yeah. All right.
Great.
So then those all fit. Now we need to make our images fit. And so for our images, let's actually give it a wrapper. So that we can more easily deal with that. Because what I want to do, actually, if we can,
to do a border radius thing.
Yeah, I'd love to make that work. So let's do image wrap is going to be like width. What was it? It was
Oh,
like, I don't know, we'll call it 100 pixels. We'll do a height of 100 pixels. Give it a border radius of 50%, so it's circular. And then I want to do, I think, an overflow hidden here. And then for the image, we can do width 100%, height 100%, and object fit cover, I think.
yep.
You doing anything? Did I screw this up? Testimonials, image wrap.
This looks great. Like perhaps Storybook didn't update it. Yeah.
There it is. Okay.
So
look at that.
Great.
Now we've got our testimonials. They're showing up properly. The images are cropped. And then we can just make this do the thing that we want it to do. So let's go with a margin of maybe 0 auto 1.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yay.
That's
Great.
good enough, right? That's good enough for government work.
Yeah, we can go with that.
All right. So let's call this good. We've got ourselves a 3 testimonial setup. And that is, we're gonna put this in good shape here. Let's roll. What do we do next?
Yeah. Okay. So let's say that now, like we're done, like with building our website sections, and like we want like to ship them to a content editor for them like to be able to play with them. So we can like one last time add to this nice machine UI on the okay.
Add to this button. Push this one.
And then we can hit push slice to Prismic.
Okay.
So this will push your slice to Prismic.io, like the LSMS. Like that's the first time that we are interacting with Prismic.io directly. And
it is.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing because I saw a bunch of boops happening, and I knew that Cassidy was here before I looked at the chat.
Okay, so we pushed our first slice. The testimonial slice. Now we need to push the second one, the section error.
Okay.
And I think for the sake of visibility, we can hit retake a screenshot of it quickly. So if you hover the image.
Hover the image.
Okay, we're getting boot right now. Yeah, we can take a screenshot of it.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Cool. Okay, I get it. I get it.
And it basically took a screenshot from Storybook for like content editor to be able to see, okay, the section error looks like that. So that's what I want to put in the website. Okay, and like,
all right, chat, chill it out. We got to learn stuff here. All right, so I'm going to click this push slice to Prismic.
Yeah.
Now we just got to, now we wait. Okay.
I think it got pushed to Prismic.
I did push to Prismic, I think. And so now.
We set in a few. So yeah, we're done with coding. Like now, like, I think that's the first time that we can add to Prismic.io.
All right, chat. We gotta chill it so we can actually see what's going on. We're running a little bit short on time. Thank you as always for the boops. But so we've got our 2 sections here. We've pushed them to Prismic, and they said new before, but now they say modified. Does that what does modified mean in this context?
I think modified. Well, I'm thinking like I'm working at Prismic. Of course, I know what modified means. Yeah, like modifying is meant to say that the slice has been modified and is not in sync with Prismic. But right now we just push them to Prismic, so it shouldn't. It shouldn't prompt that here. So yeah, well, let's ignore it, and I think we could just add safely to Prismic here.
Okay, cool.
So yeah.
So I think I clicked the button, so I think it's there.
Yeah. Well, we will see that in a few. So yeah, like right now we are running Slice Machine UI. This is the local UI, but now we can add to Prismic.io the website. Well, the LSMS website, and that's the first time that we will interact with it.
Okay.
Yeah, in the browser. Sorry.
And what do we call it? LWJ slice machine .prismic.io. Is that right?
Yep. It will prompt you for login, I think.
Okay.
Yep. so you can use your credentials.
Oh God. Really hope that is that password gonna be here. Yes, there it is. Okay. Thank goodness for password managers. Yes. Okay. So I'm gonna save that. Please don't lose it.
Okay.
Define as the main language. Yes. We
Yep.
do English. Once upon a time.
Yeah. So welcome to Prismic. Well, this is the UI of the headless CMS part of it. And right now we are in the document tab. So this is like the part of the CMS where you're gonna see like everything, like all the documents that you are like, all the content that you are managing. Now, like right now, we need to add to the second tab. So it's the content modeling section of Prismic. So on this sidebar, you have custom type.
Okay.
So this is the part that we used to deal with as developer, where we were like inputting like fields and content, things like that. With Slice Machine, we reduced this interaction to the minimum. So by default, it ships with a single like page custom type. So we are gonna edit this one, so you can edit inside it. And here you will find like a UI that you are probably familiar with it. Like it's just like some kind of like advanced custom field UI where you can like input fields. So right now, like you're looking at it right now, there's the slice zone, and that's like what we want to deal with. So right now there's a bunch of like default slices within it. I think we can delete them all, like using the little bin icon, just like quickly, so you can like just be just using our slices.
Bye.
Yeah. There's not a lot of them, like almost done.
There we go.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're looking at nothing default. We're all custom today.
Yep. And now you can click add slices, add a slice, excuse me.
Adding.
And here there's tabs. There's the first tab with the default slices that we just deleted, and there's a shared slice tab.
Shared slices?
Yep.
Ooh.
And here are our two slices. So you can select the two of them.
You can select them both. Yes.
Yep.
Excellent.
And what we are saying right now is that, okay, like in every document of type pages, our content editor will be able to use our section hero and our section testimonial section components that we built. And that's everything that we need to do in the CMS. We can hit save.
Okay.
Like we don't need to deal with this one. And now if we get back to the home page of like our repository.
Okay.
No, excuse me, like the home page of Prismic, like the just
sorry, gotcha.
No, my bad. Yeah, and we can get back to the document tab. Yeah, this okay.
Oh, whoops, I went too far.
No, it's like this is the dashboard where you have every like website that you're managing with switching. So yeah, to the document tab, and now we can like it's a pen icon to create a new page for it.
Cool. Okay. All right. So then if I want to build our homepage, I would expect that I click this and I go, isn't this neat? And then I can say, I built this using Prismic Slice Machine. And then we can say like, check out. So, wow, my spelling today is brutal. Slice Machine. Right. And then let's put in a link to Slice Machine. Yeah. Where am I? Here.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Oh, this kind of link to the web. There we go.
Exactly.
Excellent. And all right.
We need an image.
So an image. So I'm gonna do just a screenshot of the page. How about that?
That works.
No, I want to stay on the page.
This is So and here you can drag and drop your image.
Oh, I can drag and drop here. Okay.
Yep.
Well, this is already open, so I'll drag and drop here. Okay. Please don't judge me on my failure to clean up screenshots. Chat.
No, it's all right. If you see my desktop right now, it's a mess. So yeah, and we can input our slice. And
now I want to add another one, right?
Yep. So at the bottom.
So I hit my button.
Slice.
Beautiful.
So here, like we're in the body of like a marketing person, content editor, and like we are filling our website and like defining the structure of our page with the sections that our developers provided to us.
Yeah. So I'm gonna pull some random folks. Let's get Cassidy's image. Or wait, no. There it is. I love this. This is like one of my favorite features. So I'm gonna
know about it, but I will be using it now.
Okay, so then I can put Cassidy in here, and we'll use the drag and drop.
Hey,
Okay.
there we go.
And then we're gonna add another one. And let's see who else is coming in here. I see Trust. Let's.
Yeah,
Is it
a
Trust
trust.
codes?
No, it's a hyphen trust. Yeah.
There you are.
Here we go. Some
That work?
content first in.
It did work. All right. Let's get Alex in here. I love this.
Yeah, so like this is again like the editor experience within Prismic using the components that we put together with JSON.
Okay, and then we're gonna do one more. Who else is out here? Jimena. Let's do. Let's see if this works. Oh no, okay, I don't know your GitHub, so maybe not. Oh wait, we got it. VF92. What's up? Okay, so
Hey.
let's do this. And then we'll get Jimena added. And we'll say let's. Okay, so how about this? We've got three things set here. These are all good. Then what?
Okay, last thing we can do is like if you scroll up, there's a single like UID field. This is like a unique identifier for your document.
Oh, okay.
And well, we can just say like home page, right? Just say home or home page. That's up to you.
Yeah, let's do home. That's good.
That's something that is unique within your Prismic content, so that you can like identify this document. And now we can save.
Okay.
And publish. Oh, that's really weird.
This value is already being used. That's okay.
I think it's okay. Yeah, you can hit publish now. Yeah, or yeah, this works also.
Now we are publishing. I am publishing. It is published. It is done. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So then if I want to use this, so we've got, and this is what I think is really cool. We were able to work on these without actually having to publish anything. So we were able to kind of see that they worked but this is in Storybook. So what we haven't actually done yet is done anything with this setup.
Exactly. Yep. And we can do that pretty quickly.
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Okay. So add to your index.js from your pages directory. So this is like
pages index view. Okay.
Yep. So you can remove pretty much everything, I think. Well, from the template, yeah.
Okay. I have removed pretty much everything.
Yeah, and you can you can remove the style also, I think. Or keep it, well, that's up to you.
Let's just make it empty.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. So now we need to, well, that's like also like Test Machine is helping here again, because like you don't need to know much about Nux to get it working. So what you're gonna use is the slice zone component. So it's a component from Prismic that is able to render like the slices that we put it inside our CMS. So it's slices, yes, with a C, slice zone. And then we're gonna give it like few attributes. So the first attribute is the type of the document that you want to fetch. So it's type, this one was a page, so it's type page.
Okay.
The second attribute is its unique identifier. So here we have UID. And
like
this one, just UID with
sorry.
One U, yep. So, my bad.
I'm broken by that node package.
Yeah.
And then this was home page, right?
Yep. And you can close it.
Can it be self-closing like this, or does it?
Yep, it can be self-closing. And now, last thing we need to do is inside the script tag, we need to import slice zone, like before the export. Yep, we need to import slice zone. It's a camel case, I think. Yep.
Why can I not spell today? Jeez. Slice
Okay, with a
zone.
Yeah, zone. Yep.
God.
From view hyphen slice zone in a single word. Yep, you got it.
Okay.
Okay, and now inside the export default directive, we need to add components, which is like the view way of saying like, okay, this component is using this component, so it's an object, and here we just type slice zone. Yep.
And that's that, right?
Yep, and boom, we're done. We can launch our storybook.
Okay.
Well, not
so
storybook.
let's...
You can shut storybook. You can shut Slice Machine UI. We can launch next.
Okay. I think it's just npm run dev.
Yep. So if we didn't mess up, we should see our content in the page right now.
All right. And so while we're waiting for that to build, I want to talk about a couple things that I see here that are really, really interesting. So a big problem that I see with a lot of teams is that they're trying to build these experiences. They're trying to build the ability to say, you know, we need like these card components, but the cards have some variations in them. Like, you know, some of them are going to have a title, some of them aren't. They might have 1 entry or 15 entries and all these sorts of things that it's hard to do with a more static design system, because you're basically saying, okay, well, I'll create 15 variations of this component and then you'll choose the one that you want. But then you have to go code up the forms to manage like, oh, well, here's the 15 variations of forms to go with these 15 variations of components, and things start to get really hard to manage because, you know, you're updating things in multiple places. What I like about this is that this does a lot of that kind of as part of the development process. As I'm building this and saying like, this is repeatable, you're switching it over to be a repeatable section and also configuring Prismic so that the author will add multiple sections. And that it feels really nice to use from a developer standpoint, because I can see if I needed to make a change to this later, I'm editing a view component. And if we need to make data model changes, you know, that's a thing that I can sort of see a path forward to without breaking everything, right? So that seems pretty exciting.
Yeah. Well, we are really exciting about it at Prismic, and we are really like, well, again, the goal with that was to like work on the workflow of developer with the CMSs, and like to have like a more like decent way for developers to reduce like the back and forth going on with CMSs. And yeah, that's what Slice Machine is about. So yeah, we did it. I don't know if how much time like we are left, Jason. Like if we want to, we can do one last stunt.
Let's see. We have about 20 minutes, so I think we can do one last thing.
Yeah. Okay. So what we're gonna do is gonna deploy this thing. Well, this website that we made to Netlify.
This is a beautiful website, by the way. I
it's
have to hand it to us
for the amount of time we put in it.
I mean, I'm gonna give it to the chat. The chat is really making up the aesthetic of this site. Y'all look great. And I see you planning your class action lawsuit over there. You're right. You're gonna get 50% of nothing. Okay. Yeah. Let's deploy it. I'm ready.
Yep. So what we need to do is to do a little add a little flag in next config, so it's ready to be deployed as a statically generated website. So let's add to next config.js file.
Okay.
Yep. And inside we just want to add like a top level key. Yep. Yeah. You can add it at line 4. That's right. It's called generate. So it's a generate key. Yeah. It's an object. And inside you give it another key, which is fallback, and you set it to true.
Like that?
And yeah, and basically what this is telling to next is to generate a for.html so that Netlify is able to redirect every route to something in case like it doesn't match a file.
Got you. Okay, that makes sense. So then what we can do is to build the website. Well, if that's okay for you, we can like build it locally and drag and drop it to Netlify. We can, we can drag and drop it, or if you want, I can also just get this up on GitHub and we can deploy it.
Whatever suits you best.
So I'm going to end up eventually doing that anyway. So rather than deploying it twice, why don't we do that now? So what I'm going to do is get a init. It already exists. Perfect. So it was already set up. And it looks like the git ignore and everything's already set up. Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm going to git add everything.
Hold on. One last, because just before you commit,
Okay.
yeah, you already staged everything. Okay.
Well, I can unset it.
Yeah, we just need to add a file to git ignore because like we added storybook to it and it's versioning the .next storybook thing, which is a generated thing that we don't want on our GitHub.
Oh, so I see. Okay.
Yeah, we just want to add that to our git ignore.
Okay. And that is Nuxt storybook. My spelling today is going so poorly that I'm not going to try to type that out.
And there's a git ignore file going around. Yeah, you can add it.
Okay. So now if we do that.
Now you can stage everything.
Git add all. Let's check. We've got our slices. We've got our slice machine. This one's okay to put in?
Yeah, this one is meant to be on GitHub.
Okay. And then I'm going to git commit. We'll say like ready for deployment. Okay. Then I'm going to GitHub repo create learn with JSON Prismic slice machine. Make it public. Yes. Perfect. And then let's git push set upstream to origin main.
Mastering it to a whole new level for me. I get
a lot of practice with this workflow. Then we can use the netlify CLI. So I'm using netlify command. I'm going to netlify init.
Great.
And this is going to let us create and configure a new site. I'm going to put it on my team, and we'll call this Prismic Slice Machine.
Great.
Okay, so that's created. Our build command
will be either npm run generate or yarn generate.
npm run generate.
Yep.
And the deploy directory.
It's dist.
Dist.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Okay.
There we go. Then I'm going to open the Netlify app, and we can watch this build, or not. Who am I logged in as? Let's log in as me. Okay, so our site is building.
Okay. Yep. Do we have already the final URL of the website? Yeah, yes, we have it.
We should. It'll be right. Oh, not quite yet, but it'll be prismicslicemachine.netlify.app will be the.
Okay, so if we have it already, head over to Prismic.io, your dashboard, well, the slice. Yep, exactly. We can get back, yep, and you get to settings quickly.
Okay.
So the little cog at the end, and there's a preview tab. Previews.
Previews. Yep. I see it.
Yep. Okay. And you're gonna create like just give it like a production on Netlify. That's up to you. And I will show you like what this is doing.
Okay.
Here you can input the final URL of the website.
Prismicslicemachine.netlify.app.
Great. And it's /preview that you need to enter at the link resolver. So what we're creating right now is a preview endpoint for production websites. So we are able to preview content in it. And Prismic has quite an interesting approach to preview. So you don't have to deal with the staging website where you get to see every draft document. You are able to see with Prismic only the documents that you are working on as a content editor and to preview them like on again, like some kind of isolated scope. So you only seeing what you are working on. So that's what so let's just check if that's got deployed as expected.
It appears to have deployed as expected.
Yep, so we have
go production. Out here. We've got ourselves a production site, y'all.
And now, yep, we can share it to the chat. And now last thing that we need to do is to like add to the repository. Excuse me, when I say repository, it's the Prismic headless CMS part. So where we were at just before.
Here?
Yep, you can add to the document tab, the first one on the left. So yeah, the document where we entered our input, our content, and you can edit this document. And perhaps like you want to edit the headline, putting something like catchy, or I don't know, like just something for the Twitch chat. Yeah, this is perfect. So just hit save.
Okay, so I save.
At the top. Don't publish.
But we have not published.
Yeah, and now click this is saved as a draft, and now you can click the little I near publish. Yep, click. And this will open our live website, and okay.
Oh, but it tried to go to the home page.
Yeah, go to the home page now. Right now, there's a little gotcha here, but...
Wow!
And it updated the thing. And like right now, if you want to put the last sentence, there's a get shareable link at the top of the little pop-up here. This will give you a link. You can throw it in the chat, and everyone in the chat will be able to get to this page. They might need to remove the
homepage part,
the homepage thing, but otherwise, yeah, they don't need to do it. But actually, they will be able to preview the same preview that we are previewing. So this allows content writer to work with a coworker and stakeholder and everything to
that is
preview content in the website.
Really slick that just worked. And so I'm going to visit this link right now too.
Yep.
Holy crap. Yeah, that is amazing, right?
And here you're only previewing the content that you were working on. So you don't get to see every draft content, you just see what you were working on.
Yeah. All right. Okay. I'm sold. And so this is really incredible. I love the workflow here. I love that it seems like JavaScript across all of the frameworks has sort of moved to this component-based model. And I love that the thinking here is component-based, that we're treating our change sets as components where, if we make an edit, we can preview just the section that we're working on, not the whole site. We're able to edit just the component that we're working on, not the whole page. We build our pages out of components instead of having these monolithic pages. This is really nice. This feels good to work with. And I mean, look how much we were able to do. We in less than 90 minutes have been able to go from an empty folder. We started with an empty folder. We created a new Nux project. We initialized the Prismic CLI, set up a new Prismic account and a new Prismic project, set up Slice Machine, built and designed 2 different sections for our site, this hero and this testimonial section. We were able to test those. We now have Storybook running so that we're able to look at these in isolation and test them out, so we could send that to our design team as a reference. And we were able to go to Prismic, add real content, get this thing published all the way to the internet while I was screwing around for a decent amount of the time. And now we have live previews of works in progress so that the content team can say, hey, I'm working on something. What do you think of this copy change? That's kind of huge. I don't know that there's another workflow that would let us get this far this fast.
Yeah, that was a long list.
All right, chat. We've got 9 minutes. So if you've got questions about this workflow, you want to ask Lucie something, now's your chance. Let's do it. Oh no. Okay, well, do it before I'm drowned. In the meantime, before we lose our screen real estate, let's do some link shout outs. Make sure you go and follow Lucie on Twitter. And if you cannot read the screen anymore, you can read the screen. Go LI_HBR on Twitter. Please do that. You can find more information about Slice Machine at slicemachine.dev and more about Prismic at prismic.io. As always, the show is being live captioned. We've had Amanda with us all day today helping us do these live captions. That is brought to us by White Coat Captioning. Thank you so much, Amanda, for being here. And that's made possible through our sponsors, Netlify, Fauna, Auth0, and Hasura, all kicking in to make this show more accessible to more people. Lucie, are there any other resources that you want people to go check out, either for you or for Prismic?
Okay, so, well, it's not a resources, but we are running if you like the workflows that we showcase with Jason here, we are running right now a contest within Prismic where you are asked to build a slice library like we did with Jason. Okay. It ends at the end of the month. So if you just search if you get to prismic.io/blog.
Is it this one?
Yep, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, you got it correctly. So yeah, we're running a contest based on this workflow, and if you like it,
okay, look at this. I'm trying to make it emerge.
Yeah. So yeah, if you like the workflow, like you can join the contest within building a library within Vue or React.js, and it ends at the end of the month. I think it's the 23rd of February that it ends. So yeah, and you are just asked to build a simple library like this and to showcase it within a website like we did with Jason.
Very, very cool. Yeah, so this is super fun. You can go check out the site that we built here. Make sure you go and take a look. Also, the repo is open sourced. If you want to go take a look at that, what is it? Browse?
Yeah,
nope.
and
repo view. I know how to do this. I forget how the GitHub tools work. I feel like I know stuff and then it all just exits my brain immediately. There we go.
And Alex wants me to talk about the prizes for the contest. Yeah, we managed to get some exciting prizes for the contest. So you can get, there will be 3 winners, and from a stand-up desk to like custom-made mechanical keyboards. So Casey, I know you're into this.
Custom-made mechanical keyboard. That's always fun. Oh yeah, here we go. Yeah, the Jarvis Bamboo standing desk. That is actually what I'm at right now. Is the Jarvis Bamboo standing desk. That's a heck of a prize. Those are pretty excellent. So yeah, you can get started here. It looks like there's a Slice library started for both Next and Nuxt. This is pretty cool stuff. I'm very impressed. Y'all have done excellent work. Let's see. What else should we do? Lucie, other than your Twitter, is there anywhere you want people to go to check you out?
Yeah, you can check my blog. So it's lihbr.com. Yeah, it's a link. Yeah, so yeah, it's a blog where I'm writing every now and then about tech and things. So if you're into like Vue.js, but also serverless thinking and things like that. Right now, I'm writing an article about serverless function and how to prevent abuse and spam with them. So this will launch soon. Yeah.
Well, this has been great. I mean, I am thoroughly impressed by this. I think this is it's really great work from the Prismic team. I'm still kind of like befuddled that we were able to get as far as we did in the 90 minutes that we had. Lucie, thank you so much for hanging out today. I really appreciate it. Any parting words for the chat before we wrap this thing up?
Yeah, and me too. Thank you, Jason, for having me. I had a really nice time with you. It was a lot of fun and interesting things that we went through.
Absolutely. I am super glad that we had this chance. With that, I think we can call this one a resounding success. Chat, as always, thank you for hanging out. Thank you for playing along. Let's go take a look at the schedule for what's coming up next, because we've got some really fun stuff coming up on the show, and I cannot wait to share it with you. So we're going to do some serverless marketing automation for React. This is something that's going to be interesting whether you are trying to do something on your own, like start a newsletter, or whether you're working with your company and you want to look at ways to make your marketing feel a little less like spray everything at the whole list and hope for the best. This is more like customization. We're trying to make sure that people get content that's relevant to them and that it doesn't take a huge amount of manual effort to make it possible. Joel is also just very funny, very fun to talk to. We're going to have Colby Fayok on the show. We're going to talk about using WordPress with Next.js, so headless WordPress, Next.js to build the front end. Ben Vinegar is going to come and teach us about error tracking. We're going to set up Sentry. This is going to be a lot of fun, and we're going to see some really useful stuff. If you haven't done error monitoring or things like that, it's a way for you to get notified when things start to go wrong. You can set like thresholds like, hey, we're seeing a lot of errors on this function, so that you don't learn about it from Twitter. You learn about it from your tooling.
Yeah, and Sentry is such an awesome tool to use.
Oh yeah, they're great. We've got Abhi, old coworker of mine, who is going to talk about running state machines on Kubernetes and a stampede. I'm going to do a little bit of state machine stuff here too that I haven't quite put on the calendar yet, but we'll get it on there. It'll be a good time. Ben's coming back, and we've got a few that I haven't announced yet, but it's going to be fun. We're going to have Sunil Pai on the show. We're going to talk about Vite, which is going to be great. Wes Boss is coming on the show. We've got Jennifer Wadella. We're going to talk about Angular. We've got so many good things coming up on Learn with Jason. So make sure you head over to learnwithjason.dev/schedule and hit this add to calendar or add on Google Calendar button so that you get updated. All right, y'all. With that, I think we're going to say one more goodbye. Lucie, thank you as always. Thank you so much, chat. What a great time. This is going to be amazing. We're going to go raid, let's go raid Julie Strader, and we will see you next time.
Yeah, see you.
Oh my God, I don't know how to end. Here we go.